I'm going to take a shot on this one.
I'm going to say beer.
I'm buying everybody around on this. Oh my God.
Well, welcome back to our Bar Talk segment. This is one of my favorite segments every single week. It's where we gauge NHL topics by our choice of drink, and sometimes we need a lot of them. So, just like this week, and this feels so weird for me, we're going to lead with the Islanders yet again. Anthony, Ilya Sorokin should start every game for the Islanders in the playoffs.
You know, I was ready to say, like, buy everyone around for every game. Maybe hesitate a little bit, but listen, I'll say this: Ilya Sorokin, every Islander fan knows, and even fans. I love John thinking about what he's going to say right now. Every Islander fan knows that, you know, he was viewed as our savior. He's been hyped, you know, and he's come over, and for everything that he hasn't been afforded because of this crazy year, he still excelled, and he still showed his skill with his athleticism. And he shut the Penguins down. This isn't the regular season. This is the playoffs. This is all about getting in your heads. This is momentum. This is getting in a groove and feeling good. You know, the kid played his first playoff game. He was cool, calm, collected, and you reward him by sitting him on the bench because your number one is healthy, hasn't played in a game in, you know, almost 2 weeks. Listen, Varlamov played great after that first period. He settled in, but I think Sorokin had all the momentum. You know, I think he has a lot to prove too. Hey, listen, you know, he knows he was the backup this year. He probably wants to say, hey, I'm ready to be the number one next year, and maybe by having a good playoffs, he gets a larger contract too from the Islanders this summer. If he would have a lot of success, I think he's motivated. And, you know, experience-wise at the NHL level, he doesn't have it at Varlamov yet. But if you're talking pure skill and talent, he's got more than Varlamov. He needs to work on his, you know, he's still learning his angles and his positioning. But just on raw athletic ability, he's better than Varlamov, and I think, yeah. So you know what? Screw it. I'm gonna say, I'll say Brown. I think he should be the starter. Like we were texting yesterday. At least give him the opportunity. If he falters, yeah, then go back to Varlamov. But until then, ride him. See what he does. Maybe it's like I said, Cam Ward, 2006. The guy gets hot, and he has his coming out party. But yeah, I think he should. But I'll be shocked if he's in goal. I think Trotz is going to go back to Varlamov tomorrow for Game 3.
I'm going to say beer. And I know that we've had this question previously before the playoffs, and the question was, should Ilya Sorokin start Game 1? And
the irony is that he did.
The irony is that he ended up doing so due to an injury, and he played well. I said that you got to go with the guy that got you to the dance in Varlamov, which is funny because that's what Barry Trotz basically said. So he took the words right out of my mouth and used them against me. Go figure. But,
that would be a horrible Meatloaf song.
Yeah, all right, stop. Just stop with the Meatloaf references, please. You're killing me, Smalls. I mean, all jokes aside, it's funny that I say those exact words and he ends up turning them against me, and it ends up actually, costing them in a way. I mean, you don't want to pin the entire loss on Varlamov because the Islanders really didn't start that game well either, but I'm not going to say they started it bad, but Varlamov has to make those 2 saves. He absolutely has to. And right now, it's got to be Sorokin's net. You got to go back to Sorokin in Game 3 because he looked really good. And you can't afford to go down 2-1 against Pittsburgh. You do not want to lose Game 3 because I think whoever wins Game 3 is probably going to end up winning this series. And if they don't, then at least they have a much better chance of winning it, obviously. But you got to go with Sorokin right now. I'm going to say beer just because it's so early that if the Islanders end up getting past this series and winning it, I mean, the goaltending controversy will still probably linger on a little bit, and it'll give a little more time for Trotz to analyze the situation. He's got to make a move sooner than later, and it's got to be Sorokin in Game 3, if you ask me. So I'm going to say beer.
I'm glad Anthony changed it by everybody around, so now I can actually lower mine to just beer. Because if you didn't, I was going to be buying. We've talked about this again privately, and I've mentioned it in the first segment. Ilya Sorokin stole Game 1, and where I got some of my friends that are talking, "Oh, Sorokin," like, yeah, whatever. I still think Igor is better anyway. So that's both bias and also, I mean, Ilya Sorokin kept them in that game in Game 1, and I really look at him in the first 2 periods of that game and go, he was the difference. I'm not going to kill him too bad, but he's off at his angle on the captain and goal. So, and that's one of those stops you have to make right there. You can't afford to let it go to overtime. Luckily, the Islanders won it anyway, so you didn't have to worry about that in the end. So, and another reason why it's a beer, because he could step in at any moment. Barry Trotz navigated this situation once before, and I've said this on previous broadcasts with FIlip Grubauer and Braden Holtby. And even though it was not the same situation, he got the best out of Braden Holtby, and they ended up winning a Stanley Cup with that. I mean, imagine that. You started 2 games with FIlip Grubauer and won a Stanley Cup after going down 2-0 and losing your first 2 games at home, which I was all like, hey, I wonder who was the last team that did that. Oh, yeah, it happened 3 years ago. So wake up. So moving on to the next guy. John, we'll start you with this. JG Pageau is most critical player to the Islanders' success.
I would say he's probably top 3. I've got to put him behind the other 2 centers in front of him. Funny enough, Brock Nelson is probably the most critical player, I think. He's got to be the Brock Nelson that he was last year in the playoffs. If they want to go deep, Brock Nelson's got to replicate that type of performance. So I'm going to say beer because he's up there, but he's not the most important one for me. But the way he's playing right now, I mean, he's going to be the driving force, and if he's going to be the driving force and he can get them over the hump, and their other guys like Barzal and Eberle can start producing, and Palmieri doesn't go milk carton status again, I mean, that's a real formidable offense right there. If all those other guys, he stays hot. So also, where's Travis Zajac?
Healthy scratch.
I mean, that's what I'm getting at. Like, how you brought that guy over and he's not even playing. So they've got some depth. They've got options. But JG Pageau is absolutely doing everything that they need him to do. He's that pain in the ass 4-goal against the Rangers type player right now. Yeah, I know. I want to say the same words right now, but
we don't have to worry about being PG.
Yeah, we got to keep it PG. So yeah, he's been real good. He's been worth every single penny that they gave him. So beer, but not the most important to me, but right there.
I'm going to go beer too, but I will say he was, for my money, he was the best Islander on the ice in Game 1. He was all over. He scored a goal. He played against Crosby's line. He created the game-winning goal, Palmieri. Face-offs, PK. So you can make the case that he is, but I just think that Barzal get going was probably more critical. But listen, Pager's line, him, Wallstrom, Palmieri, they're going right now, and it's Palmieri's playing good on his own too, but Pageau drives the line in the sense of that he's the most physical guy in that line. He takes the draws, and he just plays really hard. He plays a hard-nosed style of game, but I'm just not going around just because I think Barzal's success overall to the team is probably more critical, because once he gets going, then Pittsburgh has to pay more attention to him, and it gives guys like Nelson and Pageau's line a little more freedom because they're facing lesser competition. So, but yeah, I agree with John. Pageau's probably top 3 for me. I would say Barzal, Pageau, and then probably like Adam Pelech, based upon the fact that he's staple to Crosby's back. But yeah, he's been great. He's been awesome for the Islanders, and if he keeps playing the way he does, they're going to have a real good chance of winning this series.
And just because I might tell a player to go to hell, rotten hell, I hate you, you ruin moments of my life, doesn't mean he's not a good player. Yeah, I hate John Gabriel Pageau with a passion, but my God, if he was wearing a blue shirt, I would take him on my team in a heartbeat. And then I'd probably have to punch him in the face once if I met him in person. So it's to give my answer on this, I'm gonna have to go beer too, because both you guys laid it out perfectly. Barzal is critical, Pelech is critical, and Brock Nelson is critical. What's great about the Pageau acquisition for the Islanders is now he's either the matchup center, which frees up Barzal, or you got 2 matchup centers with him and Cizikas, and even a third with Nelson.
Nelson, yeah.
Like, Nelson's game took off because Tavares left. I mean,
We do not speak his name.
as much as you could say, John Tavares, if he was a New York Islander, Islander fans, he who will not be named.
Don't say his name.
It really would have helped the Islanders immensely, but you wouldn't have John Gabriel Pageau, although he might have had him on a wing. I mean, let's be honest, they probably still would have gotten him.
Oh, no, they probably cap-wise.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have been able to afford him, but they would have been able to go get him, though. So, again, I'm going to have to go beer. It's close to buying everybody around. I'll say that.
Did you like that video? Of course you did. So why not check out some more of our content? You can check the playlist right here or right here.
Your ideas are intriguing to me, and I wish to subscribe to your newsletter.